your life. Take this on.
Hold on.
On that. The frequency. It is on. Nine. Nine.
Hello everyone, my name is Ishan Srivastav. I've gathered here with Pratilipi Comics today to celebrate 100 episodes of Shaitani Rashme, one of our best performing comics. I've gathered here today with the panel responsible for making Shaitani Rashme, from the writers to the visual aspect creators. All of them have gathered. So let's welcome them on. Guys. Guys, I'll just start it out by just introducing what Pratilipi Comics is. Pratilipi Comics is the biggest platform for digital comics in India. We have comics of all genres: action, thriller, adventure. Shaitani Rashme itself is a thriller and a soft horror type comic that we have on our platform. It is one of the earliest ones. It was responsible for bringing in a lot of big numbers of audiences initially when the Pratilipi Comics app had started. So today we're gonna have like a small Q&A with the team. People on the live will also have a chance to ask questions of the panel itself, and we're also gonna answer the we're gonna tell the winners of the SR cover contest as well as for the writing contest. I'd start out by introducing Kriti Kundu, the head editor at Pratilipi Comics. She's the head writer for the comic as well. Let's welcome. Hi, Kriti. So one question I had for Kriti was, please, we'll just start out by asking you what your role with Shaitani Rashme was, and just tell me that.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Kriti Kundu and I have been the head editor, writer and conceptualizer for Shaitani Rashme since the past 2 years, and it gives me immense pleasure to be here with my team who has been working on Shaitani Rashme for the last 2 years. So big hand for all of us who have achieved this milestone.
So, wanted to ask one question of you. What was the inspiration behind writing SR? What was one of the things that some things that were the inspiration for the story while you started writing it?
So this is really crazy actually. I sort of stumbled on some of the rituals that were being carried on in some part of Bihar, where exactly what the ritual was, that the bride was just beating the groom with a stick
Right.
before entering the house,
Right.
like after the ceremonies and everything. So it sounded like a really weird ritual to me, that why the hell are they doing such a thing?
Common.
Right. So so that just gave me the idea that what if we can document such a story into a comic, and I wanted to experiment with the horror genre to see that, because I knew that the market for horror comics is really good right now, and we have such amazing stories based on folk tales and stories that are hailing from the heartland of India. So just wanted to create a horror comic. So first I took that part of the story from like a real life inspiration from that ritual, and the second half came from my passion to create a horror comic with something supernatural, with some supernatural element that has to be related to the Indian folk tales or
Right.
Indian way of looking at occult things basically,
Yeah.
which is not westernized so much.
Mhm.
So that is how I like formed this fictional family of the Gehlots, who are basically a family of devil worshippers. And what if there's an orphan girl who comes in contact with this family and is very much taken, is fantasizing this family so much, thinking that okay, I'll lead such a life of luxury, but after she gets married in the
General
family.
story of SR was that only, right? Like a girl gets married into a family which has a lot of hidden secrets and
Right,
rituals
right,
that they perform.
right.
Right. So now SR has completed 100 episodes. How do you go about keeping it fresh? Like, how is it so that 100 ho gaya, 100 और भी होंगे? So how do you make sure like it's always has its momentum, is going well? How do you do that?
So honestly speaking, it's really tough. That's the true. That's the
Straight up.
yeah, straight up answer. It's really tough to keep coming up with new ideas, with new arc lines and
Twist
everything.
turns.
Yeah. So even after like completing 100 episodes, still the traction, the retention of the comic is really nice, and I would not like to mess it up in any way. So how I go about it is basically creating more and more motives for the characters. If for a season, for like I keep in mind that I have to run this season for the next 25 episodes, so I'll create new motives for all the characters, the primary characters, Nikita,
right.
Rakshit, Piyush, and the Gehlots.
Yeah.
So I create new motives for them for all the seasons, for every season basically, and I just think that what all interesting events can be added in them, which will keep the essence of the story intact.
Right.
I don't usually want to deviate from the essence of the story too much. So I have to balance both of these together. Sometimes it gets really tough, but the team helps me
Right.
conceptualizing everything, and obviously we have got like people to with whom I brainstorm in
Right.
our team only to come up with new arcs, to come up with new ideas.
So have been written and once the work is done. So yeah, this is also a good opportunity for the fans to get an idea of how we go about the process, how we make the comics, how they're written, the insides of it, as well as so moving forward, we'll talk a bit more about the process of how the comic is visually made. So once the editor is done, once Kriti is done writing an episode, where do we go from there? At that point, it comes to the creative lead. At that, when SR had started, the creative lead for it was Tanisha. So we'll ask Tanisha some questions, see what the experience was like. Tanisha, just tell me what your experience of when SR had started, what it was like, the challenges you faced, as well as the different steps you took to, you know, make it more whole, make the story more realized in the theme that it belongs in. Because there's a lot of occult stuff, a lot of cultural stuff that is relevant to the story as well as to India. So how did you guys go about making all of this?
So, when we had started SR, it was one of our very first comics, and we were still experimenting with a lot of things with the story, with the visual aspects of it, and we weren't sure like how we were gonna go about it. So, interestingly, we started off with we had we I got the script from Kriti, and we just started off and like we started building on the characters and their looks, and it's also one of the first stories which demanded a very Indianized look and feel to it. So it was like if you've seen the other stories in the beginning, it had a lot of westernized look to it. With Shaitani, we tried to do something very different.
Yeah,
Because
very Haveli look.
yeah, because as she said, it's like based out of a very actual
Right.
from an Indian culture. So we started off with the clothes and what we can understand. And our biggest challenge in the beginning was creating the characters in a very Indianized way, like how will they look and how we'll go about it. So adding a mustache or their hairstyles and stuff. So it was one by one that we started changing, and we started experimenting, and it was like a very fun and at the same time very challenging time for the whole team.
Right.
And with SR, we've experimented a lot with like Kriti was experimenting a lot with the storylines, and It's her forte to play with horror. So luckily we had that very well nailed down, and we just had to get the art very well set. And at that point, we were also working with freelancers. So a very big shout out to Jai Gopal sir, who was with us from the beginning, and he's worked with us on a a long, very large number of episodes.
Yeah.
And so it was, yeah, like with him we started off, and then slowly somewhere in the middle we started changing things, the colors and the characters and what they should be wearing or how they should be looking. And I think from the very beginning, Mukund has been a storyboarding artist. So with time, we also started evolving with
So
how.
storyboard was still carried out by Mukul
Yes,
in-house,
yes.
and then it would move on to
Yeah.
Jay sir, who's gonna now handle
Actually, while we are at it, I would also like to mention Prachi Singhvi, who was one of the first creative
Yes,
leads
it is.
who was working with us on the project.
Hmm.
Sadly, she could not be here today, but thank you, Prachi, from the team to you for leading SR at that point, and then all of us also joined with you.
She actually found Jay sir also. So
Okay,
so that was
so
the beginning.
that was how we worked with freelancers. So
Hmm.
currently, the process of making Shaitani Rashme, because it became quite important that the comic looks good and is carried out with a certain amount of importance, so a lot of the processes moved in house as well. So currently, Ashik is the person who handles the visual aspect of Shaitani Rasme. We'll talk a bit more with him. Hi Ashik, please tell me about the workflow that you follow, what all steps and what exactly do you do when it comes to Shaitani Rasme?
Hi guys, I'm Ashik Shanawaz. I'm the creative lead and also the inking artist of Shaitani Rashme. So, like, really, my role in the as a creative lead, my role in the whole project is to take care of the art, make sure that like we are creating the best art possible within the team and within the all resources we have. And also, main thing is to release the comic on time. That's it. So when new people come to the platform, there should be a comic to be released. So that's my responsibility to take care of those things and coordinate with the artist and make sure it's releasing on time. And and also I am the inking artist. So and also the comic you are reading with your phone, mobile screen, whatever it is. So it's a byproduct of hard work of lot of artists and also the editor who is working on the team. So the whole process starts like this. Like first, initially the script will be, of course, script will be done by Kriti, the base thing, and then it will be forwarded to the storyboarding. So Mukund is doing the storyboarding. Then after finishing the storyboarding, it will be sent it for inking. I'll be doing the inking. After inking, then coloring. After coloring, we will be sending it for post production work like lettering and stuff. Then art check, quality check. After all these, only we will be releasing a comic in the platform, like where you see the.
So, my understanding of the process so far is once the editor has the written material ready, we have a visual script of sorts that the written work can sort of be visualized also. You can see it, and it's not only written, it's also written visually so that it can be completely imagined uh, by the person taking lead from them, which is, like you said, it's Mukund. Mukund is the one who's going to storyboard it, make a storyboard for it. Then it comes to Ashik. You're the one who inks it. So while inking SR, what are some of the things, the innovations or the little things that have changed from what it used to look like to now? What are the small tweaks and things that have been done to make it, to improve it, basically to make it look way better than it did before, and obviously it looks way better now. So what are the things that have been done to improve upon the quality and keep improving it like the way you guys do?
The main challenge we were seeing is it's all going in a like Indian suburban ways going on like that. So always it's always about detailing. So showing Haveli, saris, South drapery and stuff, the ornament and everything. So we always have to sit more time on giving those details.
Yeah.
So like giving bindis, ornaments, lot of ornaments on their saris. So all the characters will be wearing those sort of.
And culturally,
Culturally,
these
yeah.
things also differ a lot. The way earrings or like ornaments on your neck look,
Yes.
moving from different parts of India to the different ones, they look quite different. So
Of
you guys make sure that those things
Yeah, those things.
So now that we know how inking is done for SR, we'll start out a little before that. The foundation of the visuals is done with the storyboard. So we'll speak with Mukund a bit. Hi Mukund, tell us a bit about yourself as well as what your experience working with SR has been like.
Hey everyone, this is Mukund, and I'm the storyboard artist of Shaitani Rashme. So basically, I'm the person behind who converts script into visual narratives. And for SR, like SR
It's a mixed genre.
is a mixed
mostly.
genre. Yeah. So there are so many characters which have different character arcs and which portrays different emotions and motives. So it was quite difficult for a storyboard artist to go with the script and
Consistently. I felt
Yeah.
like initially when I had seen it, it consisted like it was started out with soft horror, right?
Yeah.
So from soft horror, there was a bit of thrill also, and action also gets involved. So what I saw through the storyboards was that there was a lot of varying different types of paneling that was done for Shaitani Rashme as it moved. Like I felt like every 20-30 episodes, the way the paneling is would change given the different types of narratives they're trying to show. If it's more thriller.
So
No.
actually, coming on this point, when we started SR, like we have to keep in mind that a good 2 years have passed since we
Yeah.
started SR.
Yeah.
So at that point, we were also learning. We were fairly new, professionals learning how to do storyboarding and going about the script and everything. So I remember that going to Mukund and asking him to do something different with the script this time because we also have to make the comic a bit dynamic and the shots and everything, the paneling and everything. And he did a wonderful job in capturing the different angles and keeping the perspective intact for all of the comic.
Right.
And I think we also want to know that was it some other approach that you used in this technique, or how did you feel the story would be coming out? Like, is it as per your visualization, as per your vision of the story?
So basically, like in SR, there are so many flashback of the characters, and like there are so many actions they were doing. Sometimes characters are very unpredictable, so it makes SR very interesting story for readers and for artists also
Right.
to draw.
Like to maintain the suspense as you come to a reveal, you can play with the paneling, the way it's done,
Yeah.
all of that.
So I always try to capture or compose in such a way that a reader can feel the story and it can relate to the character. It can feel the same emotion that character is feeling at that moment.
Right. So storyboard is done. We're done with inking that Ashik does. Moving on to Abhijit. Abhijit is the one who colors Shaitani Rashme. So hi Abhijit, tell me a bit, like we did with everyone. Tell me a bit about yourself as well as what your experience working with SR was like.
So, hi guys, I'm Abhijit Raghunathan. I'm the coloring artist of Shaitani Rashme, and so I will be doing the final process, which is coloring. Uh, so,
So some of the things, just tell me some of the things that you find that you do specific, like a treatment that you give to Shaitani Rashme, while like, okay, this is, I'm dealing with Shaitani Rashme, this certain, like you give certain lighting, certain highlights, things are done with a certain
Is there something
color
different
scheme
that you
that you
follow?
do
Some
that
different
is
techniques?
specific to
at
us.
first, we used to do like old school type of coloring with low contrast things, and now we shifted it to high contrast and sort of coloring styles like that. And at first, we used to do cell shading. Now we are focusing on
More dynamic,
soft shading
hyper-realistic
kind of.
Yeah. Now, that's mostly it. That is the process that we follow. So he colored it after this, push it off for lettering, get it done. The episode is ready with you. And this particular process that you heard from the writing part to storyboarding to inking it to coloring it, lettering, all of it, is something that you, as a fan yourself, you can also do if you have stories to tell. Pratilipi Comics is also a platform where you, as an artist, can also publish your own work. Keep following Pratilipi Comics Instagram page if you want to know more about this. In the coming weeks, we'll be posting more about how you can post your own work on Pratilipi Comics and gain a wider audience by doing the same. So, I had some questions. I'm done asking those to the panel. if anyone in the Q&A has any questions that they want to ask, they can go ahead, ask those questions now. Yeah, so one of the questions that has come is, what is the most fun part? I'll pose the question to the entire panel. You can decide how they want to answer. What is the most fun part about creating comics? Y'all are not going to answer. I'm going to pick Tanisha. Tanisha, please go ahead.
I think the most fun part is how to express. Because right from writing a story to the visual aspect, there are a lot of like the way you can make a lot of difference by just changing the coloring. You can make a lot of difference by changing the plot or the way the character is acting or the storyboarding or the inking. Every aspect of it has that opportunity to play around with and change the whole look and feel of the story. So I think that's one of the most interesting, even lettering actually, like the way you put out the dialogues, and it changes the reading experience, and that's something that we've learned.
Yeah, actually,
over time.
honestly, when I had first seen webtoons, it was my first time ever seeing them. The way it's like a scroll, right? I had not experienced such a way of visual storytelling, and now that more that I see off work of the sort by others or the work that Pratilipi makes, I find it really very interesting because it kind of gives the control to the reader how it unfolds the story, as well as keeps a lot of the control to yourself. Like you would only see a certain part of the narrative while the dialogue has come, and only when you want it specifically in a very time-based manner, which is not something that you can really do with comics, which are panel to panel. You might just come across something before it is meant to be.
Actually, like adding to her answer, actually, what I feel is the most fun part of this creating comics part is that when you are writing the story, you have some sort of vision in mind that okay, this episode is gonna look this way. But after all of this process is complete and I like finally do the quality check of the comic, sometimes I'm like really surprised that okay, I did not imagine it to be this way, but it has visually come out to be really something very different from what my vision was.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it sort of aligns with the artist,
Right.
and like obviously there have been sort of differences also. But I think that's the fun part of
I
it.
think that's important to note,
Yeah.
guys. If you are not the one writing and drawing your own story, please, everyone, once each step is done, sit down together, figure out if everyone's on the same page before moving forward.
I actually have like a very fun anecdote about this. When one time she had given me the script and I had the storyboards and I'm going about it, and then I got hooked to the story. And somewhere I went, oh my god, what happens next? Because the episode ended, and she said you'll find that out in the next episode.
Nice.
So it's really fun because
Yeah.
it also you become a part of the story and you want to know more.
Yeah, I think this is my trait that I usually don't tell the story to even to my team members also, because like it's very last moment at what I would want to do, like if I want to change anything in the story or not.
Does it ever happen like audience perception of a new episode you've written is sort of gonna take, like you're gonna direct the story in a certain direction because the audience has liked the character or really
Right.
disliked them?
Yeah, for sure.
That's something that
There were
happens.
some characters which I had to be killed off, and they were like really cursing me that why you becoming R. Martin suddenly and killing characters left, right, center. So I had to revive some of the characters.
Do it for all for the fans. All
Yeah.
for the fans, guys. So, another question that I had so we had also on Pratilipi Comics story, we had kind of posted a story asking people if they want to ask anything of the panel. So one of the questions we had at that time from Twinkle Radha was, how did you pitch the story to Pratilipi? This would be, I'm guessing, a question directly to Kriti. So how did you go about pitching it to Pratilipi?
Like when I started writing Shaitani Rashme and I decided that I'll be working on such a story, I like there was no confusion or there was no hesitance, because I knew that like the comics team is very much open to new ideas, as you all know, working with us, that we always encourage new experiments, working on different stories, all sorts of genres. So there was no hesitance in that. Just that I was a bit skeptical that since this is a new genre, sort of mixed genre, and a sort of a taboo topic, then what will be the reception, and will my team allow me to make the story, materialize the story well or not? Because they might feel that maybe the Indian audience is not ready for something like this. But hopefully, we just went ahead with it without thinking too much about it. That uh, like will the story be liked or not? I, from my point of view, I just tried to make the story as gripping as possible, so that like like all the readers are really just stuck on the edges of their seats. That okay, we want the next episode like right now, and this is what, thankfully, this has worked out well. And we you all know that when it was launched, we got so many mails asking for the next episodes. Like even today, we get so many comic queries just based on this only, that we need more
Serious
characters.
question, when is the next episode coming?
Yeah, this is the story of my life.
Nice. So, another question that was from Azhar Ansari was science fiction comic book चाहिए जैसे मार्वल का होता है टाइम ट्रैवल स्लैश मल्टीवर्स टाइप. So, do you guys, I'm sure प्रतिलिपि comics के अंदर, I have read it, there are comics of similar genres to science fiction and time travel. What would be a few?
सो हाँ, यहाँ पे मतलब प्रतिलिपि प्लेटफॉर्म पे काफ़ी सारे जॉनर हमने एक्सप्लोर किए. इनमें से कुछ लाइक साइंस फिक्शन थे, एंड जैसे शैतानी रस्में, तो शैतानी रस्में इज अ ब्लेंड ऑफ डिफरेंट जॉनर्स. तो यहाँ पे आप सारा कुछ देख लोगे, लाइक माइथोलॉजी देख लोगे, एंड ड्रामा, हॉरर. सो बेसिकली देयर आर सम प्रोजेक्ट्स बट वी आर स्टिल एक्सप्लोरिंग.
Abhijit, please, need you to answer. Give me two names. Need you to give me two names of comics that are like on a science fiction genre on Pratilipi Comics.
Science fiction type of comics. Like which one in Pratilipi Comics on? So
We already have one comic called Dunshit, where Tanisha was in it.
Tanisha had worked on it.
We had one share.
Dunshit.
That is kind of in the same genre as this, isn't it?
That is something bring me to Pratilipi. Yeah.
He was our inking artist.
Yeah.
He was freelancing with us then.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Wait, on that actually, Ishan, we're also like adding more genres, upcoming genres. So I think more Marvel and DC Rekka content will be on Pratilipi soon.
That's exciting. So more of action,
Yes.
thriller.
So
So
like
stuff.
Shaitani, now we'll be starting with a lot of different genres, and hopefully we'll have more of Shaitanis.
Damn nice, damn really cool. So another question is challenges while writing Shaitani Rashme.
Okay.
कृति को ही सब पूछेंगे, सारे क्वेश्चन कृति को ही हैं. इसके बाद बड़ी सी चाय लगेगी आफ्टर दिस इंटरव्यू.
Right. So challenges while writing Shaitani Rashme, first of all, has to be to be consistent with the ideas, coming up with new ideas. Obviously, when you have reached 100 episodes, you're writing one comic since 2 years. So people are always like, what's next? How do we engage the audience to this level that they keep want to be reading this comic for the next 2 years more? So obviously that is one challenge, and to maintain the the pace of the comic is also very important. That it cannot be that in one episode a lot many things are happening, so many events are happening. Then in the next episode, maybe the events are not that fast paced, so it is getting sort of dull for the
तो एक
readers.
हफ्ता वेट करना would feel kind of wasteful otherwise. So you make sure that it's well
It's
distributed.
it's sort
also.
of blasphemous for us. We cannot give that excuse that okay, we are having writers block this month.
नहीं हो
So
सकता.
yeah, we can't.
मंथ में हुआ तो 4 एपिसोड में.
Yeah, so definitely not an option for us.
Yeah.
Neither for me, neither for Ashik, neither for any of us over here. Another challenge I feel was to sort of like be a bit mindful of the content that we are pushing out, because it is soft horror, but also
Gory नहीं
a
होता.
topic that is sort of a taboo, but also we cannot go all out and create extremely gory or bloodshed sort of scenes in our
Gotta be
comics.
careful. At no
Yes.
point can it become parody
Right,
type. We
right.
gotta be serious about it, not go into gore also.
Yeah,
So
because all
maintains
sorts
it
of
very tastefully.
we cater to all sorts of readers. We
Yeah.
don't know that like exactly what sort of readers are coming in and what do they want to.
Hmm.
So to be specific and catering to the range of readers so that it is hitting a chord with everyone at once.
Hmm.
I think that is also to just how to like you learn how to balance between content with
Right.
time, and this is one of the major learning also while writing Shaitani Rashme.
So, guys, speaking of Shaitani Rashme, 100th episode had come out on 15th August. Please go read it on the Pratilpi Comics app. So, we'll now just move on to the winners of the cover writing competition as well as for the story writing competition. The competition ran from 3rd August to 14th. We had entries on our Pratilpi Comics Instagram page for the cover. So, the cover thing was you had to design a cover for Shaitani Rashme. From the entries we had received, our team has picked two of them. I'd let Ashik elaborate further on the winners for that, and for the writing piece, there were three winners for which I let Kriti speak further. So Ashik, starting with you, please tell me about the winners.
So, coming to the competition, we had got a lot of covers for Shaitani Rashme. There, it was really confusing to like determine who is the first, second, and everything
Yeah.
because we already got a lot of from that. So from that, we all sorted out two names. So pardon me if I'm mispronouncing or anything. It's Arto Felix who got the first prize for the comic. We will be posting the artwork in our platform in the story itself. And the second prize is Haman, who got the second prize.
Congratulations, guys. So these guys will be receiving a month's subscription to Pratilpi Comics as well as a certificate will be sent to them. Such competitions keep happening on Pratilpi Comics Instagram page. Please keep checking, keep coming back to see if there are any running. If you would like to participate as well. Mostly that's about it. I have asked questions. The people on the live have.
Yeah, and now we'll decide, like, we'll announce the names of the comic story making concept. So it was really, really tough, guys. And I was actually mildly surprised by the response that we got. But I have the winners with me now. So the first position goes to Sunanda. Congratulations, Sunanda. It was a really elaborate, well-planned story that you pitched to us, and we'll definitely want to maybe like discuss something with you about this. That how did you come up with this? I would really like to know your inputs about it. The second position goes to Venkatesh. And on the third position, we have Pritesh. So many congratulations to all of you. And please be in touch, and we would really like to keep on hearing from you more.
So I was just gonna gloss over the writing or the part, to be honest. I'm sorry, guys. So congrats to all the winners. Thank you to the panel for gathering here, answering all the questions everyone had about the process as well. And I'd also like to thank the audience for gathering for our event, for celebrating 100 episodes of SR. Please, I'd like to remind again, please go on to the Pratilpi Comics app and check out the 100th episode of SR. See you guys.